Every journey starts with anticipation. The long wait before we can grasp at something we desire. The days we count until we can experience that desire. Then, the work begins. The tireless days of effort put toward one goal. The hours spent learning, working, and perfecting. Yet, these hours spent working on a product are nothing compared to the experience that follows. The experiences, like no other, that define our work, exhaust our effort, and amaze everyone, including ourselves. These experiences would not exist if it weren't for that effort. These experiences, in both production and result, would be nothing without our surrounding friends, family, and new faces that will all soon become people that we cherish. The Lakota East Marching Band program defines this effort. It defines these experiences and creates bonds which bring people together. They join to work, to learn, and to witness themselves and their companions around them become something more, something stronger, braver, and more brilliant in performance, music, and in life. This is the result of teamwork, integrity, compassion, and excellence. This is the journey that hundreds of students will experience in Marching Band's 2018 fall season. We are the Lakota East Marching Thunderhawks. This is Liberty Township, located in southwest Ohio, and home to Lakota East High School. Which houses a well-respected band program. The Lakota East Band program is under the direction of Robert Tannis.
I'm Mr. Tannis, and I'm the Director of Bands here at Lakota East. I have been here non-stop since 1997. Opened the building. I think every year is a process that just builds upon the previous year, and you know, I don't know that there's any one moment or any one show. I just think that every year we just slowly take one more step further along that road. And I think we're able to achieve what we're doing because we haven't skipped any steps. We just keep going one step at a time. And if all the fundamentals and everything are in place, then you know we have a good run and a good season. And so
I think that last year was definitely an apogee or a plateau that we a new benchmark that we reached. But I wouldn't necessarily equate it as kind of the defining moment. I think that there had been a pretty steady progression ever since I first had the experience with the band. I think the 2017 season was marked a new surgence of our progress.
To start off the season, the members of the band gather to learn the theme of their production and other information regarding the upcoming season.
Welcome to Reveal 2018. So this person, John Camera, he is he does sound design for drum corps and nationally ranked bands all over the country. He's a Lakota East grad.
When we were in our design meeting, Jeremy Hunt says, well, there's this kid that's just really awesome, and his name is John Cameron. I'm like, what, John Cameron? His picture's on the wall. We went back there and took a picture of John, and he's designed for, I think it was Santa Clara Vanguard, and he designs for like Marcus High School. He's very well respected in the profession. It's super cool to have former students now either involved in the activity from a design standpoint or on staff.
It's going to be an awesome year. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. See you in a couple weeks.
As the summer draws near an end, it marks a beginning for East Side's percussion ensemble.
Yeah, so this year was different because we started in January, which is very early for us, and we would meet weekly, and right around, I think it was early summer, we started meet twice a week, and when band camp came around, we actually started a week early, and we had a percussion week. And then percussion week, we did everything from just learning music, and we got show music in the first week. We actually got to learn the entire part one in our percussion week, which was a huge head start, which helped a lot. But yeah, we worked on everything. Mainly, if it was a nice day, we would go outside and learn the basics of marching as a percussionist, because we march differently. We do a little crossover, which we call crabbing, because we have to keep our chest forward so the drums are facing the audience at all times. And yeah, we would just work on fundamentals all week, and at the end of the week, we actually got to have a percussion parent show and perform all of part one for our parents, which was pretty cool.
Stop it! No, I'm not wearing it. I'm not wearing it. They're mine.
At least for me, the way band camp has worked since my freshman year is not only where you get to put all this effort and all this hard work into what you're doing, but you also get to meet your section and the new members, or maybe you are a new member and you get to grow together as a family. You get to have this camaraderie with everybody because you're there for these 3 weeks through thick and thin, and sure, you've met each other a little bit before at pre-camps, rookie camps, but it's not until band camp that you really form that real connection.
In band camp, it gets really hot. You're there all day. So just the fact that you've been doing the same thing for the entire day, and it's really hot outside and you aren't used to that because it was summer and it's just the start of the season, keeping your brain engaged in everything that we're doing is really hard. And it's the most important part because that's when we're learning the fundamentals. So the hardest part is trying to keep your focus during that situation.
My name is Matthew Osborne. I'm the visual co-captioner here at Lakota East. I try to offer as much positive vibes and encouragement as much as I can. Always just trying to make sure that the students feel like they're working towards the right things.
Can we take the last 4 now?
What I always focus on is just trying to give like 1% more every rep. Always having a vision, always having something to work towards, to the end of the season, towards each rep, just, trying to better myself each time.
We rehearse the band, make sure we're just holding them to the highest possible standard. I think the most important standard for the students is that they hold themselves to their own individual excellence. Every student should know what their pinnacle is, how good they can get in a given day, a given week, by the end of the season. We talked early on in the season about goals and about where we're going to be at the end of the year. So we're always just striving from day to day, week to week to make sure that we're meeting those expectations.
Stand by.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, show me where you're at. Alright, put your hands down. Cool, hey, just gotta be honest with you. I saw some things in smaller chunks that were better, and I know we haven't hit a lot of this stuff in like an hour. Okay, I want you to make sure that your standard is as high as we can possibly get it every time. Yeah?
For upwards of 8 hours a day, the band learns and rehearses chunks of their show to prepare for the upcoming season. These 3 weeks make up half of their season's total rehearsal time.
Check. Adjust. Stand by.
Cool. Hey, totally rhetorical question wins.
What we do in our free time.
Just like many marching ensembles, the Marching Thunderhawks perform under the Friday night lights. They have a series of songs played on and off the field that are both well-liked and well-received by audiences.
We perform just a great variety of songs, which are basically just, kind of intended to get the crowd all hyped and riled up, and just ready and excited for the game.
We're all together and we still get to perform the show in front of a different group and audience each week, so it's cool just to show off to the community.
You get to spend basically just an entire evening with your friends playing music and having fun.
Football games are fun for band members because it's a time where we get to hang out with our friends, and it's not as strict, and so we just get to chill and have fun and play obnoxiously loud and up octaves and stuff if we want to, and it's just a fun time.
I feel really happy right now. I'm just blessed,
Where's my stuff at?
On one specific football night, there's what's known to the Lakota East Band's community as Band Night. This is the night where members of the junior high and freshman ensembles are invited to perform on field with the Marching Thunderhawks.
Band night is basically just like really just a celebration of the band in general. And it helps with, incentivizing, the younger kids in, joining marching band and whatnot, because they get to see how fun and, lively it can be, and how it's not just a bunch of hard work and, sweating on hot days.
The marching band gets together with all the 8th graders from Hopewell and Liberty Junior, plus all of the freshmen, and the 8th graders get to play the national anthem with us, and then all the freshmen get to play band night tunes, which this year we did the Beatles, and I think the year before that we did Chicago tunes. It's a lot of fun. We get to do a rehearsal that day with all the kids, and we get to talk to them, learn about them, and just make more friends. And then for pregame, we have all the 8th and 9th graders out on the field with us do the national anthem. And then when we build the tunnel, they get to stand next to us and play the fight song, and it's just a great time. And it sounds awesome because there's just so many more people.
During this event, members of the junior high and freshman ensembles are encouraged to join the Marching Thunderhawks.
I did participate in band night, but I never got around to joining marching band until this year, and I am really glad I did. It's a lot of fun.
I'm really excited about next year because I got to meet a whole ton of really cool new 8th graders and freshmen, and I think our section's going to be pretty good next year.
Nice for people to see where they can go, like how far they can come.
It's 27 good so it was a good night though. We got to do the show for the first time in front of like a big audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, loud and proud for your award-winning 2018 Lakota East Marching Thunderhawks.
So after halftime, it's been tradition for a few years that the drumline will actually go over to the student section and play a couple of cadences, and it's really fun because the students are very supportive, and we just get to kind of jam out while we have fun and hopefully make the student section a little bit more pumped up for the game. So it's pretty fun. So after the game, it's also tradition that we'll march back with the band, and when the band actually goes inside to go get unchanged and put everything away, we'll go out to a small grassy area and we'll just same kind of idea. We'll play a couple cadences and even a few show chunks, which can include part of our body, which we do from it's our drum break in part 1 of the show, and we'll just run through a few things that sound cool and just perform for all the people that are there watching.
Alright, so we got up really, really early, and then we got on the buses for about a 2-hour trip, and then we went to Bowling Green.
So we had, I think it was 5 competitions this year, and we really build up to it the whole season. And then the week before a big one, like the week before we did Bowling Green, that was our first competition of the year, so we kind of just got down into all the finer details, and we stopped adding drill for the week and just tried to clean it all up. And it's more, instead of for all the rehearsals prior to that, it was more, let's get the big picture and try and just clean up big sets and stuff. And then before a competition, we try to just, people aren't making it to this set on time, we'll just focus on this set for like a half hour or something. And it's just very nitpicky, but it helps us so much. Like just watching us do a set from the beginning of that rehearsal to the end, it's like a totally different thing, and it's pretty cool.
I think it was like the first time that I really like thought, because I always remember last year how I like felt at the end of the performance. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was really nervous going into this year because a lot of my section was like new, or they weren't like as experienced as the other kids we had last year. So I was just really nervous that we weren't gonna like live up to the standard.
The very first performance, it was good. My personal run, I remember, I thought it was probably one of our best. The show wasn't entirely done yet, but it still was a really good run, and I think a lot of people felt that way too.
From Liberty Township, Ohio, the Lakota East High School Marching Band.
Oh my God. Can we all see the same thing?
In Class 4A, the award for Outstanding Visual Performance goes to the William Mason High School Marching Band from Mason, Ohio. In Class 4A, in second place, the Lakota East. Announced in no particular order, our 10 regional championship finalist bands are the Lakota East.
Get a hot picture of me.
Yeah, just for you, Eric.
Me too, honestly. Heck yeah.
Say it again.
Yes.
4 feet down, 2, 3, touch, roll up and off, 3, 4 feet down, 2, 3, touch, roll up and off, 3, 4 feet down, 2, 3, touch, roll up and off.
Outstanding Percussion in Class AA is sponsored by the David Rowland family and presented by Jordan Howerton, Max Sager, and Owen Wisniewski. The award for Outstanding Percussion in Class AA goes to Lakota East. Overall outstanding music performance goes to Lakota East. Overall outstanding visual goes to Lakota East. Overall outstanding general effect goes to Lakota East. The award for first place band in Class AA is sponsored by the Havener and presented by Teresa Ferguson, Jonathan Havener, Seth Ford, and Angelina Mack. The award for first place band in Class AA goes to Lakota East. Overall grand champion goes to Lakota East.
The Thunderhawks have now completed 2 competitions and are ready to head to Bands of America's 2018 Super Regional Championships in Indianapolis, Indiana. The judges at both Bowling Green and Kettering have witnessed the Thunderhawks' captivating production. But what makes this show so special? How does it convey its message? The show is based upon 3 simple concepts: line, shape, and color, which serve as the most simple basis for creating art from Mondrian's perspective. The pulse of the production is driven by the members of the battery. They must learn to play fast, correctly, and in time while carrying their instruments, some weighing almost 40% of their body weight, and marching on the field using a special marching technique. Different auditory elements are provided by the members of the front ensemble. These members work just as hard, as they must communicate with each other for time, precision, and memorization of notes. Line, shape, and color features a select group of students to perform and add effect to emphasize different parts of the show. The show begins with a percussion feature set on emphasizing the first movement, line.
At the beginning of the show, the pit kind of has a little, they press a button and it plays our pre-show, and what the pre-show does is it kind of like emphasizes line, then shape, then color, and it's really interesting.
Joining us from Liberty Township, Ohio, please welcome the Lakota East High School Marching Band. Lakota East High School show is entitled Line, Shape, and Color. Bands of America is proud to present in preliminary performance drum majors Aaron Gregg, Rachel Gray, Olivia Dodson, and
We have
Caitlin
there's
Zonka.
a sample in the pre-show that says color, and they do a ripple, and it just kind of goes this way. And use the white to kind of progress that down the field. But you know, we take any chance we get to have that color contrast front to back.
And then they all like wave toward Jack, and then Jack starts his solo.
So I have a solo at the beginning of the show. I kind of start the whole thing off. There's a pre-show, and usually I get a count off from the drum major, and then I'll come in and have a 2-bar solo, and then the pit will join me for the second 2 bars of my solo, and that's when the percussion feature of the show begins.
Then the quads stand up, and we put our drums down, and then we back up and play our little riff.
The beginning of the show opens up with a snare solo, and then they start to kind of layer the percussion in to start the show. So it starts, you add a couple snares, and you add some tenors, and then the pit layers in, you get the bells and the xylophone, and then you layer in some marimbas and vibraphones, and it all kind of stacks up on top of each other.
We all kind of join in together, and we all form like our block, and we're dead in the center of the field.
You know, the line is kind of minimalistic. It's a line, and the arawa that you know, even though it has interest, it's very simple, and the line is a very simple thing.
Our other favorite part of the show is, we call it from D to E in part 1. That is our drum feature. So it is a part of the show where we move right up to the 50, right on the front of the field, and we have some really cool dynamics and some really cool notes, and we just get to just be in front and have our moment.
I think the most difficult part of the first movement is that we have a lot of direction changes and a lot of big steps to take compared to last year. It was like we had like a lot of small steps getting into a specific spot, and then we have multiple spots we need to be in, and then we have to like take gigantic steps to get there.
And you know, when you get to the shape, and we use the Eric Whitaker, the River Cam, and that music is so he wrote that he was there in Cambridge, and his son was kind of going to school there, and he walked that on a regular basis, and it had such an impact on him. And so it wasn't just about the shape, like physical shapes, so much as it is about the shape of the music and the passion that the music was there.
So in the second movement of our show, Line, Shape, and Color, the second movement entitled Shape, I am the clarinet soloist for the ballad. Originally a cello solo, but was transcribed for B-flat clarinet by Eric Whitaker in the solo The River Cam, which is mostly a cello solo that I get to play in the movement of part 2, which has a lot of great symbolism, and it is an absolute honor to be the soloist of our marching band show this year. All 3 parts are definitely interconnected, definitely. I feel like, you know, shape, most importantly, I think it represents, I kind of like to put it, a sense of being in a far away, just distant land. I guess you could say something like that, because you know, during part 2, I'm not necessarily with members of my section at all. I think I'm always with the saxophones or with other members of other sections, because I'm never with my clarinet section, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of strange, because whenever, you know, you're playing a solo, you know, you're representing a part of a whole. But in this case, I was with an entirely different section, so it made just kind of the stances just a little bit different for me. I could say my solo represents a sense of, it resembles kind of an example I would feel of, you know, not only just hopelessness, but, you know, just kind of like moving, I guess you could say, with vigoration and just momentum, because you know, during the entirety of part 2, you know, I'm really just, all I'm doing is just walking down the 50-yard line, making just a single statement. But my statement that I make in my solo is always carried on with the rest of the brass and the front ensemble, because I'm never alone, I'm never playing, it's never just me, it's always, other people are always playing along with me, and I think that's a key role in what my solo really means, because it's, you know, definitely maybe there's some helplessness involved since I'm not with all my section, but there's definitely another dimension of, you know, leading the band with a theme, and the band carries on with that theme, and I'm always playing with other people, which is always, there's still that thing with our band with teamwork and compassion with other people, because it's never just a cadenza where I'm just playing by myself. I'm always playing with other people the entire time.
I think that the visual side of the show truly enhanced the product. I think that without that, that side of it, the music alone wouldn't necessarily have given that impression. We wouldn't have been able to, so to speak, tell that story without all the elements working together. The elaborate staging and movement and field props. Without that, we wouldn't have been able to tell that story at all.
So part 2 was our ballad, and it was a beautiful ballad by Eric Whitaker, you know, and it was performed, you know, just very, very well with by every member in the entire band.
I'm pretty sure Lakota's never done something like that. It was obviously really fun to get to play the music. It was also really cool because not everyone in the sax choir was a senior. I'm a sophomore.
Favorite section of the music is actually not one that I play. It would be the sax choir, because every single time that would get me really revved up for all of part 3. Just listening to them and seeing how passionate they were, just visually engaging in it, was really inspiring for me.
That tempo change is the exact tempo that the start of part 2 is at.
For the pit, part 3 was definitely super hard, and for the marimbas especially, there was one specifically crazy part that was kind of a pit feature, and then just a whole bunch of 16th notes that just kept going, so it was very technically demanding.
You know, Rocky Point is a piece of music that really has a lot of color and a lot of shading of timbres and everything, and so that's a perfect piece of music to kind of represent color. Of course, written for that Rocky Point. It's like an amusement park out there on the East Coast, and so Ron Nilsson had visited that, and it was just, you know, it's perfect for us as far as the color scape is concerned.
After a huge hit, it's kind of like the brass and the woodwind stop playing, but the brass and the battery charge toward the 50, and it's just battery playing, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire show. Then the battery has an awesome ripple kind of effect with the music. We trade it off, like goes down from basses to snares to quads, and then everyone joins back in and we get straight into the end of Rocky Point.
last couple seconds of the show, Ryan George kind of layer in and recap musically. It just kind of helped tie everything all together, not only from a visual standpoint, from a musical standpoint.
Just like any marching band, the visual aspect is a critical part of the production, and it is well portrayed by the members of the color guard, who are the performers that handle various flags, rifles, and other smaller props.
It's a group of team members who all come together to either spin rifle, flag, whatever equipment is needed, in this case squares, to help like add a visual aspect to the marching band show. When you first learn it, it's kind of like a different language. Like, you don't really know anything about it, and you get really frustrated very quickly because it's a completely new skill, and no one, usually when people do guard, they have never done it in their life before, so you have to like learn how to manipulate the flag, and the elements don't really help. Like when you catch like a gust of wind and then your flag flies like 2 yard lines over, it's not really the best situation for learning things, but like once you figure it out, then it's all worth it. So we have the black and white flags, which are kind of like the lines, and we do like very almost staccato like movements. There's like a lot of like fast things that happen, nothing like too exciting, and then we like kind of form not necessarily like lines, but like basic shapes, like when we're doing our drill and stuff. And then with shape, we obviously have like the big giant squares, and we also form like a little box in the beginning, and like our drill, we form this like rectangle situation, so like shapes and stuff. And then at the end with all the different colors, like bringing, like, cause our flags are the colors, and our work is like very like exciting. Like that was my favorite work to perform because it was just so like different than all the rest of it. And there was a lot more like tosses and harder work, so just like portraying like the excitement and the color of the end of the show.
Hey, guess what? You just performed the whole show!
To prepare for the Bands of America Super Regional Championships, the Marching Thunderhawks rehearse at wall-to-wall indoor soccer arena.
We practice at wall-to-wall because like the inside environment is different musically and the music environment's completely different. So practicing at wall-to-wall is like super beneficial for us, I think, because for the brass and woodwinds, we have to come together as one in our music. I really do think it helps us.
Sauce!
During rehearsals, the band spends time cleaning and perfecting their show. This is achieved with the help of the band's section leaders.
Something that I try to do is make it like fun for everybody, because I know that like the directors really want a silent rehearsal, but it would just be better for everyone if like everyone's having a fun time while doing that. Yeah, I try to help them with anything with technique or their music playing ability. So anytime that I would hear something that's wrong, I'd be like, hey, could you play that for me? And like, could you try that again? Or like if I notice that they're not doing the right technique, then I could always just be like, hey, do you mind everyone like who can do the best doing with their toes up or like flex feet? And then
whoever won that, then just like give them something encouraging and something like that.
And I feel like to help them a lot, I would just be like, hey guys, remember you need to pay attention, like this is like important that you're focusing here, we don't want anybody to get hurt. And I always offered to like come in early to help them with music or drill, and I know a lot of them took me up on the offer. And I know one day a lot of the kids like were missing and they were like, Clara, we need help, so we came in early and we worked through a lot of the drill and body that they missed.
Are the best drivers.
Yeah, I failed my driver's test the first time.
Before we get started, the bathroom is in the back. Please don't use it if you don't have to, because the guys in the back.
Obviously, we had to leave like right after school, get on a bus. Unfortunately, this year I didn't get to skip 6 bell, and on the way down, we're all on the bus. I'm having a blast. This is our super regionals. It's our big thing.
To warm up for the prelims performance the following day, the band rehearses in Grand Park Sports Plus.
I don't know why I don't have it. Normally closer to the front sideline. Is that correct? Mr. Wyrick? The front panel is normally further forward. Even area, thank you. Because normally we do front panels, then guard, and field panels, right? So front panels, can we shift our props a little bit forward?
Hi, my name is Caitlin Zonka, and I'm a drum major this year for the Lakota East Marching Thunderhawks. A drum major is responsible for conducting the band. We mostly are in charge of keeping the band in time throughout the shows and football games and stuff like that. To help the band out, we help call out sets, and so the band knows where they're going for like that chunk that we're going to run during rehearsals.
Same race. Set.
When practice first starts, we do some stretching. So we'll go through a basic stretching sequence, and then we'll usually do something fun, whether it's like calf raises to like some music, or like squats with like the Sally song, or maybe some running. But just like getting the band like ready to like run rehearsal and more active is a good way to like help them. And then like we just motivate them, so anything that we can do to like say positive, encouraging things, like when you know that like practices are getting harder, or like it's raining and people just want to go home, just like making sure that we're still like focused and together, and like focusing on that one goal of like what we want our season to be in the end, so that we can help accomplish that goal together as a band.
So practicing for our competition is like super intense for us, because we really have to like get focused in on what we're doing. So the directors get like super duper like hard and strict on us, because they want us to do like as well as we can at the competition.
So before we got into super regionals, there was a little bit of tension. Like everybody was wondering about like stress and like how the culture of marching band has changed.
Getting down there at like 7 or 8, we had to practice for about 2 hours.
Set.
A new addition to the Marching Thunderhawks this year is the Crew, a section of students that are responsible for pushing the props and giving life to the canvases.
So there's these 8x11 canvas props that are representative of the paintings, and we have to move them to different positions, sometimes diagonal, or we put them into clusters, or we kind of move them to the music basically, in order to give a visual performance. It requires a lot of physical exertion, and definitely to make sure that you're eating as much as possible so that you can have as much strength in order to be able to push the props. First, we start off with a blank white canvas, and the first one after the pre-show, one of the crew members will go out in front of it, and they will tear off the first line, which will be a horizontal line, which represents the first part of the show, which is line. Then in the middle act of the show, another crew member will come out when we're in a cluster, and they'll come out and they'll take off vertical strips, and that'll be the second part of the show, which is shape. And then we all eventually move to a diagonal formation, and there will be another crew person who steps out, and they'll tear off a large square or rectangle, and that will transition into the third part of the show, which is color.
Basically, they said if we can't run down 2 stairs at a time, since they're a fire, we have to use these elevators here. But however, we see that there's a major problem because elevators aren't cooperating and seems to let the guard through more than they want to let the band members through, unfortunately.
Also, there are no stairs from floor 8 to 1 apparently.
And 2 steps at a time. I think.
Two steps at a time. 2 steps at a time.
2 steps at a time, or else you're screwed, or else the fire will follow you.
What are you guys doing?
Wait.
We took a picture to send it to me.
It was 5 inches. It was 5 inches.
Just slide down this way. Fill in more space this way.
Make fun of tall people.
All right, everybody, eyes up here. Good morning, Thunderhawks. How you doing?
Very tired.
It's a beautiful day. So thank you for your flexibility with the buses. There's a 5K breast cancer awareness walk this morning, so the buses literally couldn't get to us. So here we are. So thank you for that. It was a beautiful day for a little walk. We were going to do it anyway. So the first order of business here is just to make sure that everybody understands the kind of that traffic flow, especially getting on and off the field. Just got to review that. We haven't had the opportunity to do that. This is the perfect time to do that. The number of 71 bands from all across the country. And they're all here just because they want this experience of performing. And you are among them. You're among the elite of them. And you have to believe that. But the only thing that you can do is do what you do and just respect everyone else. Like he said, the hard work that everyone else has put into it too, right? And that you can stand a lot to learn from other people by just watching. Be humble. Listen, don't talk, right? If you listen, you'll learn so much more than if you start running your mouth about how good you think we are. Just let other people do the talking. Be humble people. Okay, do what we do. All right, so we're gonna use this opportunity. Got about 15 minutes. We're gonna occupy this green space. We're gonna face.
Everyone was dead silent because we all wanted to do well. It's a big competition for us since Indy's so hard normally.
It feels really quiet. Like, I can't really describe it other than like it feels like you're literally by yourself, and like the audience is just like silently like sitting there waiting for you to perform. When really it's not like that, but just the way that the stadium is set up, that's what it feels like. So I always get super nervous, even though I've performed on that field like almost every year I've been in marching band. So yeah, it really just feels like I feel like you're like super isolated. So yeah, it doesn't feel the best. But then once you start performing, it feels good.
Let's go, Lakota!
Performing, we were all nervous the first time because we're thinking we made finals last year. That's the first time ever for Good East. We want to do it again.
Joining us from Liberty Township, Ohio, please welcome the Lakota East High School Marching Band. Lakota East's program is entitled Line, Shape, and Color.
Now that the band has performed their prelims run, they are free to watch other bands and take some time to relax until the prelims awards.
I think we showed how much work we've done this season, and we fell back on our training when things went wrong, and we fixed them on the field.
My performance was all right individually. I feel like we could have done a lot better than we did. I feel like we have done a lot better than we did also. Overall, I think there was some really solid points there, but all around, all right performance.
I feel like our crew has gone really far in just all of our dots, all of our timing, everything that we do. It's really improved, and there's a lot more growth that we can add to that. And this performance in and of itself was definitely showing how we've grown to that
From Lockport, Illinois, the Lockport Township High School Marching Band. From Plainfield, Indiana, the Plainfield High School Marching Band. Finalist bands. Class champion band members will receive medallions during tonight's finals award ceremony. In Class 4A, in third place, the Blue Springs High School Marching Band. Bands will perform in finals. Finals will open and close with exhibition performances by our class champion bands should they not be among the 14 competing finalists. Announced in random order, our 14 regional championship finalist bands. The Center Grove High School Marching Band from Greenwood, Indiana. The Centerville Jazz Band from Centerville, Ohio. Our sixth finalist to be announced, the Castle High School Marching Band from Newport, Indiana. The Homestead High School Marching Band from Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Blue Springs High School Marching Band. The Union High School Marching Band from
It is actually holds back. Good. I'm excited. This is year 2. We're gonna do it good.
After having made Super Regional Finals for the 2nd year in a row, the Thunderhawks have entered into an elite category of bands and have shown that they are ready to work hard and to improve in the art down the road.
Anybody else notice how all the Lakota
They did it to us again.
I'm so happy that we
But I haven't gotten mine yet. Well,
You guys have a party? No, we're having Monday. We're gonna have a sleepover.
Dude, I know how to play Spider. We're about to do a full run of the show here at Lakota East High School.
Something I am looking forward to at Grand Nationals is just doing something no Lakota band has ever done. I mean, no matter how we place or any of that, it's just going to be a really fun experience because like East has never gone there before. It's just going to be a really fun experience overall.
I'm just really excited to perform in front of thousands of people. It's just something I really enjoy.
Yeah, just make sure that's happening, cool? Yeah, A3. You should be at splitting. Yes, thank you. Cool. Can we take the last 4 now? And then we're going to add the music back into this in a little bit. We're going to keep the tempo right there. We're going to do 4 plus count 1 of the halt. So we'll close the feet. Sound good? Point to where you're going? Let's do it. Here we go.
Alright, here we go. Ready, set, part 1.
Class run is when like each class runs separately by themselves for a separate part of the show. Like freshmen will do part 1 or part 2, all by themselves, no other class.
Seniors at? Where you guys at, seniors?
Energy for 5 hours straight. This balance. That will boost.
Midway through, we stopped at a Walmart Supercenter parking lot and got changed in their parking lot with 75 tour buses full of kids changing in their parking lot. Most of them went inside and started wandering around. It's weird having a couple hundred band kids walking around at Walmart.
So right now, we're getting changed at a Walmart somewhere in Indiana, I think. Or maybe we're still in Ohio, I don't know. But it is...
No, we're about 15 minutes from the stadium apparently.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it's 7:28 in the morning, and we're all changing at a Walmart. And it's pretty great.
Yep, it's cold.
I don't really know what else to say.
Yes, what I forgot.
On Friday,
felt Florida the same to me, right?
As the band draws nearer to Lucas Oil Stadium, anticipation builds. This is the first time the Thunderhawks are performing at Bands of America's Grand National Championships.
Oh yeah, that's right. What was that thing we did here?
I honestly didn't have any expectation other than I mean, going into it, the only thing that I was hoping for is that we would not have any regrets. No, leave everything on the field and perform and have it be our best one. And I think we did that. And after that, it didn't matter. I would have been fine.
We walked through the tunnel for what we thought could have been our last time, what I thought could have been our last time at Lucas Oil with me performing. We went into the practice rooms and they were all, congratulating us for how good of a season it was, because they never thought we'd ever go further than this. We did our normal warm-ups, and playing exercise and all that, and then it started to get real again. We performed what I thought was our best run that we've had ever, and I walked off with everybody on our prop. And the first thing everybody said was, people were giving hugs to each other saying, congrats, this is a good way to go out. And because everybody thought, we're Lakota East, we've never done this before, it's our first year.
Our Grand Nationals run and it was a blast. Guess what we just did? We got that bread.
Oh, good. I mean, Jared went up to me and he was like, yeah, that was like the best run that I've had in 4 years. And I was like, I feel that. Like, I feel like, genuinely just feel like happy after that. Just like glowing. We got that bread.
So we just finished our prelims run. It was amazing. It was the best run I've ever had. I'm really proud to be here. I'm thankful for everything. That was the last run. Then it was a very good one. That's all I got.
That was probably the best run the band's ever had. Like the whole band, but also probably the drum line, because it was clean. It was real clean.
The guard was on time the entire time, and I loved it. It was so good. Oh my god, I'm so happy. My first Grand Nats is great, and I know it's my first year, but I love marching band.
Here. It was honestly the best run I've ever had before. Okay, like not a better run. This has been the best run. Our run was so great as a band that if it was to end at this point right here, it was just the best we could have done. So if we don't make semifinals, then we were never destined to make semifinals, and it was the best we could have done, So if we end it now, then I'm happy, and I think everybody else should be happy.
We're going to the mall. Eat some food. There's probably going to be everyone going to Chick-fil-A though, so.
Now we're on our way to the mall. We did this last year during Super Regionals, but it's like huge and really nice. So I'm really glad we're going.
The members of the band are given time to relax, eat, and socialize after one of the most significant performances in their season.
Actually, I have like 24 minutes though. That's plenty of time for us.
This is the clarinet soloist right here. This is how he gets his skills.
So the members are enjoying themselves and the feeling they have after this performance.
The run was amazing. We did amazing. Okay, we did really, really good. I hope we were getting like the top 22 thing that people are talking about. But even for that bottom 8, that's still super good. So yeah, either way, because really like once we make the semifinals, it's really just like have fun show because like yeah. So I'm super excited. I think we're gonna make it.
It is not yet determined whether or not the band will return to Lucas Oil for another performance, but until they find out, they will not lose their focus and will let loose in the meantime. The Marching Thunderhawks are supporting their football team in their second playoffs game against Elder High School.
We all knew when it was going to happen. We saw when the live stream started and Mr. Engel started playing it through the speakers.
From Liberty Township, Ohio, the Lakota East High School Marching Band. From Campbellsville, Kentucky, the Campbellsville Independent.
I know everybody was feeling, you know, the unknown, the thrill of what if, the dismay if, oh no.
And now we will announce our Bands of America Grand National semifinalist bands. 30 bands will be selected as semifinalists with the possibility.
The band is streaming the audio of the Bands of America Grand National Championship Prelims Awards ceremony, and they are eagerly waiting to hear the bands who will advance to Grand National Championship semifinals.
As soon as possible. Announced in random order, our 2018 Bands of America Grand National Championship semifinalist bands. The Broken Arrow High School Marching Band from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. The Kennesaw Mountain High School Marching Band from Kennesaw, Georgia. The Carmel High School Marching Band from Carmel, Indiana. The Castle High School Marching Band from Newburgh, Indiana. Semifinalist number 20 is the Lockport Township High School Marching Band from Lockport, Illinois. The Prosper High School Marching Band from Prosper, Texas. The Lakota East. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for all of our 2018 Grand National Championship bands. Congratulations to all of our semifinalist bands, and again to all of the outstanding bands who have performed over the past 2 days. Drum majors, you are dismissed.
What I was so pleased was the fact that we were in the end and in the long run.
I asked him like a month ago for a duel. Oh yeah, what's the one?
At that point, I feel everybody was like shocked and didn't know what to think.
And then we kind of went like to this conference area. We saw Broken Arrow come in, because we were, fangirling about them. It really felt like this is it, like this is our moment, and we're gonna own it.
Oh, it felt great. That was like as big of a rush as learning we got finals at Indy.
How was that?
Stunning. Good job.
And that was a real experience. So I got to sit up in the 500 level right below the Lucas Oil sign, and that was awesome. And I kept looking at the clock. I was like, okay, now they come around in 10 minutes. All right, 4, they're next. And it felt like a parent. I felt like a legit parent because I was nervous, I was shaking, I was so excited to see you guys. And then you went out there and I was about to cry. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was amazing. It sounded amazing, you looked amazing. Everything that I worked for last year just to get us to where we were at last year just like was tenfold this year. And like it was so good to see everyone and just see that what we were doing last year paid off for this year, and all the hard work this year paid off because you were there and you did it and you made semifinals, and it was like such a good experience. Even though I'm alumni, it's still amazing to be a part of, still have people in this organization say I was a part of this, because it's going places and it's amazing.
I thought the run was amazing. You know, we killed it, honestly. You know, we really went out there and we delineated what we wanted to on the field and showed off all the stuff that we needed to. We had a great run, and you know, we had fun doing it, and that's what matters.
Everything the band has worked for, all the hours of hard work, the sweat, the effort, and every second of toil led to this triumph. No Lakota East band has ever accomplished to this level of excellence. This success thrusts the band into an elite category and sets the stage for an even more successful future. The blank canvas that the band began with is now a beautiful work of art that will forever be cherished by its members.
You know, just really like be a band for like one last time until it's all over. And it was just such a great feeling to know like how much we accomplished and how much we were able to get done and still be able to like feel like we're a family, and to just have that kind of camaraderie and determination, and just to have like an awesome experience in marching.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2018 Marching Band Concert Awards. Thank you so much for being here to help us celebrate an amazing season.
It has been an eventful season. A perilous journey that has taken effort and dedication to accomplish has come to an end. Now that all achievements have been received, it is time for the Thunderhawks to reflect upon these accomplishments.
It's just a celebration of everything that's good about what we do and what we've done all season, and it's an opportunity for everyone in a kind of a controlled environment to play that music one more time and get a recording of it. But it's just a celebration of and a reflection of everything that we've done that season.
Jeremy is a member of the sousaphone section.
The members of the band who have completed their last year of this activity, the seniors, are recognized and awarded for their efforts as marching Thunderhawks.
Vivica Heidenreich. Vivica is a member of the flute section. Vivica is the daughter of...
We have a special dinner for them, and then they get to have their name read, and they get to walk with their parents and get a picture taken. And This is an interesting group of seniors because they were the first kids that I met when I came on staff at Lakota East. So I have a unique fondness, I would say, for those kids because they were my first experience. So I feel as though, while we have all grown, I feel that I've been able to grow with them in the relationships that we've created throughout the 4 years. It looked like a huge void when they all, we did the senior night at awards and they all came down and looking up into the stands, and I was like, oh my goodness, but there's been a huge void before. I've seen that void in this band, and the thing that has never ceased to amaze me is just the concept that it never rebuilds, it just reloads again. It's always sad, for kids to move on, but it's, we just kind of reload. We just put more kids, there's the next crop of kids come up, and the minute you think like, oh man, I don't know how anybody's going to be able to replace this, that, it's just like kids rise to the occasion. Because they had good role models in the departing seniors, and they saw what worked, and so then they try to mimic that, and then it just kind of keeps inching up. So the legacy that the seniors leave, they might not realize it, but it's in the empowering of the next year's senior class. Or what they were the role models.
We wish you all well in your future endeavors. Round of applause for our awesome DMs.
To honor the kids that in each section that have kind of made some huge progress and
Line, shape, and color is played one final time by the members of the Marching Thunderhawks. Every journey comes to an end. But it is not the beginning nor the end that matters most. It is instead the experiences that have been lived and shared with others. The hours of work and dedication to our goal have ended as we have attained what we set out to achieve. This great activity has allowed its members to grow and develop in new ways never thought possible.
At the end of the season, when you really reflect on things and you look back at the whole family you have, you realize how worth it is. And like at the awards, I always wind up crying because it's like something that you can be so proud of, and you have so many close relationships and friends that just keep you going the whole time.
The biggest thing I'm gonna miss about marching band is the aspect of family that it has, because it's a unique experience to most other high school experiences because of like how much we all are connected in our own friend family kind of way. It's really special, and that's something that I hope I get to have again, but it's really special to have that in high school and marching band.
The Marching Thunderhawks' 2018 production was created with a simple premise: making something beautiful with only 3 elements: line, shape, and color. This is the goal Pete Mondrian set out to achieve. And in performing this show, the Thunderhawks have brought his ideas to life.
At the time when I was performing it, it wasn't really anything special, because at that time I was like, we've got a job to do, we've got to make everything look right, we've got to make everything sound good. When we're done with the performance and we're walking off the field, and then you see all the audience, like you see all these people that you just performed for, and you're just like, I can't believe I just did that. You know, it's just so exhilarating, saying like, because you didn't imagine like in 1,000 years it's like, hey, I'm just gonna go perform in front of a lot of people.
This marching band season was really great. I could tell we had a lot of potential for our band this year. Just as a band, we've gotten so much more mature, and I could definitely tell that with our music and how we're playing, music from, some great band music and great choir music. Just at the beginning of this year, I could definitely tell our band has just been more mature than it's been in the past, and that we really have a focus definitely going into these next few years where, I just assumed, and I know from right when that band and pre-camp started that this band's really going somewhere. It's gonna be a great band in the years to come.
I feel like marching band is like one of those activities that like you start it and you get hooked. So I mean, my freshman year, like I knew like I wanted to stay in it because like just like the friendships that you make, it feels like this like big family. You get to do what you love, which is like play your instrument, but you also make these friendships that can last like a lifetime, and it's just a really great activity to like get involved in and stuff.
We're going in a really good direction right now, and that needs to stay.
This has for sure been my favorite year by far. I didn't think it could get better after last year, because last year we were also a really close section, but somehow this year topped it off, and it was just incredible. Making semifinals at Grand Nationals, and even just the smaller competitions, everything was just crazy fun.
You create a bond that you can't create anywhere else than marching band, and it's such a rare feeling that I can't quite explain like how much like connection I feel with certain people.
I've never felt closer to the people that I've surrounded myself with, and I know that people that I have talked to feel the same way.
I say whatever goal you have set in mind, I say you pursue with it, no matter what it is, because you will always achieve it, no matter how dedicated you are.
The group of people we had just worked really well together. We were able to really combine and make a team, so we were able to make music that was really amazing while also having a lot of fun with each other. So it was a super fun season and also a very successful season.
Everybody kind of recognized where we were psychologically and emotionally, and with the leaders and the leadership team and the leaders in the school, we all kind of banded together and dug down, and we came out of that, and that's one of the most defining moments of the season for me. It wasn't even making semifinals, it was the fact that we were coming out of something, and we were able to come through it and come out on the other side and feel really good about it.
Though the 2018 production has concluded, another production is already in the making.
So those two elements now together as we go into next year kind of help us have the fundamental building blocks to get us something different. We have more in our repertoire now than we did, 3 years ago.
It is most certain that every member has achieved, to the highest degree, teamwork, integrity, compassion, and excellence. This is, and always will be, the Lakota East Marching Thunderhawks.
From Liberty Township, Ohio, the Lakota East High School Marching Band. The Lakota East High School Marching Band is under the direction of Robert Tanis and Kevin Engel. The Lakota East High School is a 3-time Bands of America regional finalist, a 2017 Indianapolis Super Regional finalist. The band's earned a superior rating at the OMEA State Marching Band Finals for 21 consecutive years. Lakota East Marching Thunderhawks have earned numerous first place, best in class, and best of show awards, as well as over 40 Grand Champion awards. The bands appeared in the Hollywood Christmas Parade, the Waikiki Holiday Parade, and the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl Parade. The entire band program at Lakota East is supported by the amazing volunteers of the Lakota East Upbeat Club. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for the Lakota East High School Marching Band.